Welcome back to another episode of Gumboeats. I'm really glad you could join us today because we're doing something special. It's going to be Gumbo's Christmas Eve dinner the easy way. Somebody was nice enough to gift us with a honey baked ham for Christmas this year, so we're going to use that as our protein when the family gets together this evening for Christmas Eve dinner. Along with that, we're going to make green bean casserole. Yes, green bean casserole right off the French fried onions package, crispy fried onions package. This is my daughter's favorite. She's so happy anytime we make this, especially when we make it for Christmas. All right, along with that, we're going to make the Jiffy corn casserole. Yes, this is a favorite around our house, and I'm sure if you try it, it'll be a favorite around yours too. Really simple to make, just takes a few steps, a few ingredients, throw it in the oven. Really easy to make ahead of time. Throw it in if you're taking it somewhere, and then that way it bakes up nice and fresh. And then our other side is going to be out of an old magazine that I used to get. I cannot even remember the name of it, but it's going to be Mom's Sweet Potato Bake. And I'm going to add something a little special to it, and you're going to see that in just a few moments. So stick around, and I really think you'll enjoy what we're going to prepare for Christmas Eve dinner. And by the way, Merry Christmas from Gumbo and his family and friends. All right, so here we go. This is the exact recipe from Jiffy itself, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour melted butter into the bottom of the dish, okay? Use your whisk to make sure you get it all out, okay? Set that aside. I'm going to use that in just a minute. Then it said, okay, let's go ahead and put in our corn. All the corn out of there. Yep, there we go. Alright, so using the Del Monte, now we're going to put in the cream corn. Make sure that we get all of it out. Stir that in, and then it said work in the sour cream. Perfect. Very good. So, I like to use that little container, that little device that works very well. Okay, so I'm going to stir that in, and I'll be right back. Alright, so you can see what it looks like now with the sour cream all incorporated into the corn mixture and the butter mixture. Now, I saved the butter dish. Why not? If I'm going to have to combine the eggs in another dish, well, might as well use all that good flavor from the butter. We're not going to let that go to waste. So I'm going to take my Pampered Chef whisk that I got years and years ago. At one time, yeah, that's one of the things I did was sell the old Pampered Chef, and you see him whisking it in there. Okay, and the directions from old Jiff tell me to pour that right into that mixture and work that in. So here we go, get all that goodness from the egg worked in there. Yeah, love that egg. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to work that in, and then I'm going to put in my Jiffy mixture in just a minute. So let me do that, and I'll be right back with you. All right, so we're getting the egg now incorporated very nicely into the mixture, working it around the edges, being very careful not to get it all over the counter. Spin it around. I like to do that. It's just something I've done forever and ever since I watched my early cooking shows, those things like that. So here we go. Now I'm going to toss in my Jiffy corn mixture. Just dump it in there. We're going to get it all worked in. Nice and slow and work it down. At this point I probably would be better off using a spoon. So I'm going to pull out a spoon and we're going to work on that. Alright, so now I'm going to use a spatula. This is another Pampered Chef product I had from years and years and years ago whenever I was a Pampered Chef representative. Here we go. Getting it all worked in here nice and neat, and get all that goodness of those Jiffy corn mix. Boy, I sure love Jiffy corn muffins. I tell you what, that and some chili, dunk it in there, crumble it up in there's goodness, a little bit of butter on it, midnight snack, early in the morning, whatever. That Jiffy corn mix is really good stuff. Put it right there so you can see it. Now, I don't work for Jiffy. I just like their product and have used it forever and ever and ever as long as I can remember. So, here we go. Now we got it all worked in. And then when we get back from church this evening, we'll throw this in the oven. Alright, so let's take a look at what the directions say on the French's crispy fried onions. The original ones, of course. Alright, so sorry about bumping the camera there. And it just tells us, it says mix the soup, the milk and the pepper, and in a half-quart dish. But I like to mix it in a larger mixing dish first. It just makes it a little bit easier, makes it all work in a little bit better, and then I can mix it in and then pour it into the baking dish. It's a lot cleaner and a lot easier to do it this way. So let me mix this in and then I'll be right back and show you the next. Alright, so what I did was I added 3 cans of green beans, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, a 3/4 cup of milk. Now I'm going to add in an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, and 2/3 cup of the crispy fried onions. I'm going to mix all this together and we'll pour it into my baking dish. And when it comes time to bake it, I'll bake it for about 30 minutes or so and then top it off with some more of the Crispies, and it should be really quite tasty and delicious when we get to that point. Alright, here we go. Now of course I want to make sure that I get it all incorporated here so it's all even. Let it all bakes up nice. Don't worry if it seems too watery now, it won't be whenever it's done, I promise. Alright, so it's real easy. And this is the green bean casserole right off the box. Something we've done for years and years and years, and everybody loves it. There's never any left when we're all done. Alright, so here we go. We got Mom's Sweet Potato Bake. This is actually out of A Taste of Home back in January 2000. It's a real old magazine I used to subscribe to. So it's telling us to take 3 cups of cold sweet mashed potatoes or mashed sweet potatoes. Okay, so I boiled these off earlier, put them in the refrigerator for a while. They're nice and cold. Alright, and then it says combine the sweet potatoes, the sugar. This is 3/4 cup. Actually, this is 1 cup of sugar. Yes, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup. 1 cup of sugar. So to add the milk. The milk is, it is a, how much milk did it say? It's a 1/2 cup of milk. And this is a 1/2 stick or 4 tablespoons of butter, also known as a 1/4 cup. Softened it up with the spoon. We're going to add 3 eggs. Alright, it's also asked me to add a teaspoon of salt. There we go, teaspoon of salt. And a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. Now I'm going to mix all this together and I'm going to put it in a greased baking dish and set it aside and prepare it to go into the oven whenever we get home from church a little later on. Alright, so now I have my sweet potatoes nice and smooth. See that right there in this big bowl. Now I'm going to transfer them to my Pampered Chef deep dish baker. Again, I've got this several years ago, and I'm going to prepare this by taking a little bit of a paper towel, rub it on some softened butter, and just lightly brush the bottom of this deep dish baker. You know, this is quite nicely seasoned. That's what happens over the years of using it. Okay, very nice. And now I'm just going to spoon this in, and then we'll save it for later. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change a little bit from the directions in this recipe, and because I have something special planned for later on at the end, instead of making the pecans sweet, I'm just going to toast a few pecans in some butter. Just some real simple butter, maybe a touch of vanilla, just to add a little extra flavor. But mostly butter, probably won't even add salt. I just let the butter from the salt. Now I'm going to work this out nice and smooth. And again, it's ready to throw in to the oven as soon as we get home from church. Put that out there a little bit so you can see a little bit better, and there we go. Alright, now here we go. We got a surprise side dish for you. I didn't tell you about this one. This is a copycat recipe. I found it on geniuskitchen.com. It's a copycat recipe for, I guess you can imagine by now, the Cracker Barrel hash brown casserole. So first of all, we're going to take a couple pounds of frozen hash browns, okay, put them in a big mixing bowl. And then it says we're going to add a 1/2 cup of melted butter. It says butter or margarine, but y'all know me by now. There is no margarine in this house. It's strictly butter. Okay, so let's use our scraper. Again, that Pampered Chef scraper that I like so much. Okay, we're going to scrape that right down into the bowl. It says we're also going to add a, let's see, 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Today we're going to use the Publix cream of chicken soup. Get all that scooped out of there. Okay. Again, nice thing about this scraper, it fits into almost any can, any container, and it does a great job getting everything out of there. All right, so we got that. Okay, the hash browns are good and frozen. Start to mix that in. Oops, hash browns flying everywhere. All right, we need to get 1 pint of sour cream, and today we're going to use the Daisy sour cream. 1 pint. It's just 1 container. Makes it easy. There we go. Again, wonderful scraper. Does a fantastic job. You'd think I get paid to talk about them this highly, but I don't. I just use the equipment. I used to use it. I used to rep for them a long time ago, but that was years and years. All right, so we mix that in. All right, you'll take a, let's see, it says also a half a cup of onion. This is basically 1 small yellow onion. 2 cups of cheddar cheese. Mix all that in there. Teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. All right, so I'm going to get all that mixed in there, and I'll come back and show you what we're going to do next. All right, so here we go. We have the hash brown casserole all incorporated, all those yummy ingredients that I showed you, all incorporated, and now I'm putting it in a prepared baking dish. Now, the instructions that I got off of geniuskitchen.com said to spray it down with that kitchen spray, but I never use kitchen spray. I prefer, honestly, I prefer to use butter or olive oil whenever I cook, and a lot of times I use coconut oil when I'm not cooking at too high of a temperature. But in this case, I prepared it, rubbed it down again, paper towel, soft butter, just rub it down. Works nice and smooth, just like we want it. I got all the onions, everything worked in, stirred in real well, and now again, it's ready to go into the oven. Everything takes about 40-45 minutes. All the dishes that we prepared today take about the same amount of time to cook. They'll all fit in 1 oven. We're lucky we have 2 in this house, so we will be ready to go. We'll have a few rolls that we'll offer up with dinner, but we'll show you all that again a little bit later. All right, now time for some real simple toasted pecans. We'll start off with, I don't know, a couple, 1.5 tablespoons of butter. If that's not enough, add a little bit more. Yeah, so let's make it a full, at least 2 tablespoons of butter. You got a few pecans there, fresh pecans. Gonna let the butter melt down. Yes, this is a cast iron skillet. I love cooking with cast iron, so we're gonna let that butter melt a little bit, and then we're gonna add the pecans. All right, so that butter's nice and melted. It's starting to sparkle a little bit, starting to bubble a little bit. Now we're gonna put the pecans in there. I don't know, about a handful, so to speak. And we're just gonna stir them around. We're gonna let them toast. Basically what I'm doing, I'm frying pecans in butter. I'm not going to add anything to them. I'm just going to let the natural flavor of the pecan come out along with the butter, and then we'll top that later on over the sweet potatoes, and I'll show you how we'll make that extra special a little bit later. Alright, so I've let the pecans toast in the butter for about 4 minutes. I like to use timers when I cook. It's something I picked up actually at Payway, and you don't want it to go much longer than about 4 minutes. So notice that was pretty hot there. Need to use a towel. You don't want to go much longer than about 4 minutes on these. If you do, you'll burn them. So make sure you pull them off before you burn that butter. Okay, don't drop the pan like I did. That was pretty funny, wasn't it? Every now and then I do a stupid move like grabbing a hot pan. So anyhow, that's ready to go. I'm going to set them aside. Don't want them to cook any longer. Set them aside, and then we'll top them later on top of the sweet potato.
All right, here you go. There's the finished product. Yep, in the top left, you see the green bean casserole. In the top right, you see the spoon bread casserole. And in the bottom left, the hash brown casserole. And the one last casserole is the bottom right. Yes, that is the sweet potato bake. Sweet potatoes were baked. Once they were done, I put the marshmallows on top, put that up closer to the broiler, turned the broiler on high, that made them nice and toasty, and then sprinkled them with the second batch of buttered fried pecans. Delicious stuff. So there you go. There's the finished product. 4 beautiful sides and the honey baked ham, all ready for everybody to dig into and just enjoy on Christmas Eve. Let's eat And if you liked what you saw today, make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell. That way you can be notified anytime Gumbo uploads a new video. There will be plenty more coming your way in the next year, so make sure you stick around and watch more of Gumboeats. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.